Okay, folks, hello. Let's get the show on the road. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's town hall. We've got lots of people saying hello in the chat, telling us where they're joining from. Thank you so much, everyone. Good to see lots of people represented across the world, not just across the US. It's very cool. Yeah, thank you so much for joining today's town hall. As always, we are recording today's session. So if you get disconnected at any point, you can go over to our YouTube page and follow along. You can go to youtube.com/@hospitable. As always, we'll start with some product updates before moving on to some audience Q&A. If you do have any questions throughout the session, please try and type them in the Q&A function that you should be able to see at the bottom of your screen. If you put a question in the chat, we can't promise that we'll be able to answer your question. So if you want an answer to your question, please do try use the Q&A functionality. It helps us keep track of all the questions being asked. Okay, so without further ado, we'll briefly show up our disclaimer that we feel obliged to show with each session, and then I'm going to hand over to Emily to kick off our product updates. Emily, over to you.
Thanks, Miles. Most of you didn't set out to become professional property managers. You probably didn't go to school for this. You probably started by self-managing a single property. Maybe it was your family vacation home and you hosted a few short-term guests to cover the bills. Maybe it was your first house. You considered selling it to purchase a new home, but you realized, hey, short-term rentals might just cover the mortgage and then some. So you tried it and it worked. Your personal property is a successful short-term rental, and you're kind of enjoying the side hustle. Then a neighbor calls and a friend calls. They say they want to rent out their place and they need some help. Suddenly, you find yourself managing multiple properties and now other people's properties. You became a property manager kind of by accident. That's a story we hear every single day. It's the story of our customers, and it's the story of many of our own team members too. Just last week, Ethan, our APAC general manager who rents out some of his personal properties, shared this in our Slack channel. He's helping a friend launch and manage their first property, and in his own words, he's inadvertently become a property manager. A customer recently shared with us that they've been doing rental arbitrage for years, but they just got their first opportunity to manage for someone else, and they really just were not sure where to start, so they asked for some help. Tweak the details, and this story probably sounds a lot like yours. You've been focused on providing a really great guest experience and making sure your own expenses are covered, but now there's somebody else in the mix, the owner. Guest experience still matters a lot, and you have to continue nailing that while you work out this new relationship. Your owners want transparency. They want data. They want to know their income, their payout, their property's performance. And they probably want it when you're in Costco checking out with a cart full of paper towels. We haven't quite automated that part yet. Those of you who are already managing dozens of properties know this struggle all too well. You know how time-consuming it is to create monthly reports. One customer recently told us, I'm literally doing everything in Excel right now. This time-consuming manual work leaves a ton of room for human error. You have one forgotten payout, one wrong formula. That's a recipe for lost trust right there. You want to have just the right amount of transparency, just enough to get ahead of their questions, but not so much that they're left overwhelmed and with more questions. With the launch of our owner statements at the end of last year, we kind of dipped our toe into the problem space and solved for one obvious gap. We're currently generating 4,000 owner statements per month, avoiding bad Excel formulas and giving the option for full transparency. But there was still something missing. Communicating those statements to owners was still a huge pain. Each month after publishing, you'd have to go download a PDF and somehow get that into the hands of your owners. So we knew we weren't done yet. You might have started managing on accident, but we're here to help you scale on purpose. To scale your business, you need tools to avoid human error, boost owner confidence, and give transparency so that owners can find answers to questions before they're even asked. So we talked to property managers, we talked to their owners, and we built what they told us they needed. Today, we're really excited to show you the Owner's Portal. But first, let's hear how it came to life from our staff product designer, Matt.
Thanks, Emily. So from a design perspective, the Owner's Portal is a great example of the double diamond at work: discover, define, design, and deliver. And to reiterate what Emily has said, this opportunity was based on many insights around pain points property managers were experiencing. from sending statements manually to their owners, fielding repeated questions from owners, and generally managing a disjointed, manual, tedious experience. So we worked closely with property managers and owners to understand these problems. And what we learned was that owners want to know how much they're earning, what their manager's commission is, when their next payout is, and overall how their property is performing, all without back and forth emails, texts, or phone calls. They simply want easy access to statements, performance, and more. So we designed a portal that solves those pain points. It builds trust. It's branded with the property manager's logo and color. It shows key metrics. It provides easy access to statements. And overall, it has a clean, professional feel. The result is an experience that will make owners say, I made a great choice hiring this property manager. And this is just the beginning. And we're confident that this sets the right foundation for us to grow from. So let's take a look. Here are our amazing product engineers, Leroy and Iran, to show you the Owners Portal in action.
Hey everyone, thank you, Matt. I will share my screen really quickly. All right, so very excited today to show you something we've been working on for the past couple of weeks. The Owners Portal. This is actually my very first project here at Hospitable, so very proud to be being able to present this to you guys today. The Owners Portal is something that lives under your business, which for people on the Mogul plan, you will find under Operations, My Business. And then specifically, the Owners Portal is available for businesses that are of the type Property Manager. So if we go into this business right here, you'll see a newly added tab called Owners Portal. And you can do a couple of things on this tab. You can configure your portal, manage the brand, so to kind of customize your portal so it closely matches your brand from your company, invite the owners, and also preview the portal as if you were looking through your owner's eyes. So without further ado, let's head into the portal. So the first thing your owners will see is this dashboard, which mentioned a couple of KPIs and a financial breakdown of how their properties are doing. KPIs such as occupancy rate and average nightly rate, and most importantly, their net reservation income. You'll notice this alert on the top here. This is only shown if the current month they're viewing has and contains statements that have not been published yet. Something else to mention here is that this view, this dashboard, is a consolidated view of all of the properties the owner has. It's essentially an aggregated view of all the total financials, so they can see how all of their properties are doing in one single glance. One other thing I want to mention here is the dashboard is built on top of our metrics infrastructure. So going forward, this will allow us to very easily implement additional filtering and customization. This is also something that came up during our private pilot we've been running for the past couple of weeks. So yeah. Next up is the statements overview. This view essentially allows your owners to self-serve and access their statements on their own. They can also download them as a PDF. After this demo, my colleague Uran, he will dive into statement customization a little bit more specifically and show you how that works in the portal. But for now, let's take a step back and move back to the portal configuration and show you some of the things we've implemented here. First thing I'm gonna hop into is the brand settings. So you'll be able to customize the look and feel of your portal through both a logo, and you can additionally as well select a color to maybe more closely match those colors of your brand. If we head back to the portal configuration, you can also, if you've recently or previously set up domains at Hospitable, you can also select one of your custom domains. So your owner's portal will be served on a completely custom domain, adding to that white labeled experience. Lastly, the one more thing you can configure is the starting date. This will essentially allow you to only show financials and metrics and statements from a given date. So, for example, if you've been playing around with commission agreements at the start of the year, you only want to show numbers from a specific date, you can use the starting date right here to only show the numbers from April, for example. One final thing is, how do you get your owners access to the portal? You can do that at the top here under the owner management section. There's an invite button where you can copy a link. And if you send that link to your owner, they will get a, oh, wait, let me log out real quick. If they go to that invite link, they'll get a screen to set up their password, and then they can access the portal by themselves. All right, thank you for listening. And Uran, I'll now hand it over to you for a demo on the statement customization.
All right, thank you very much, Leroy. If you can just stop your screen sharing. Thank you. All right. So, hi everyone. I'm Uran, a product engineer here at the Hospitable. As Leroy mentioned, I'm going to do a quick demo around statement customizations and how exactly they tie into the rest of the owner portal functionality that Leroy just showcased for you. So I have this example statement here for the month of May for this property, Sunny Condominium, 1-bedroom apartment, where Costin is the manager and Bobby is the owner. I've set up some manual reservations here. I filled in a few transactions. So this statement should look like, should closely resemble what your actual statements look like. If it's the first time or one of the first time that you're viewing this on the report, you can see that there's a lot of details in here. There's a lot of numbers going on. So basically a lot of stuff going on. So it's difficult to digest all of this information, and it might take you a couple of statements or a couple of months to really get used to it. For that reason, we've gone ahead and introduced statement customizations, which you can find at the top right corner of your statement or invoice details. If I click on the customize option here, or on the bottom, more precisely, you can see that I'm presented with this sidebar here where I can pretty much customize all of the columns that I see on this particular statement. So for example, I can see reservation specific columns regarding the reservation code, the guest name, platform name and icon, dates, nights, columns that are specific to the income, columns that are specific to the fees, and also columns that are specific to the taxes. Let's take that example of Bobby and Costin. Let's say that Bobby really cares about knowing how much his income is going to be at the end of the month, and is not really interested in a lot of the other details that we provide for, or Costin provides for them by default. In that case, Costin will go ahead, or me in this case, I will go ahead and just hide some of the columns that we see here. I will hide the reservation code because that's not really, maybe it's not really relevant information for Bobby. I'm just going to show the guest full name. I'm going to show the icon. I'm going to hide the nights because that's easily calculatable by the difference of the dates. I'll keep the net reservation income, but I'm going to go ahead and hide all the other columns that we see here. I'm going to click Save. And as you can see, I am presented with this very minimal looking reservation section here. So it would be much easier to present this to Bobby and to kind of digest all of this minimal information that we have here. If I scroll down, you can see that the summary of the statement also contains less information now. And that happens because we basically respect the customizations that you selected also for the summary. So if you have opted to hide the taxes information because that's not really relevant to Bobby because that's all handled by the property manager, which is Costin in this case, you're not going to see a section on the summary that breaks down the taxes basically. In a similar fashion, if your owner is interested in more detail, you can always customize and include as many columns as you want to, or as many that are relevant for them. I'm going to go ahead and publish this statement, which basically means that Bobby should be able to view this statement on their owner portal. So I have opened Bobby's portal here. I'm going to go under the Statements tab, and you can see that this statement is now presented for Bobby for the month of May. If I click on it, you can see that I'm presented with pretty much the same view that I was on the Hospitable app, but keep in mind that this is on the owner portal. We keep the same customizations. We respect like the choices that you have made on the Hospitable app. So we only see those 5 columns that I've selected. Similarly, for the summary session at the bottom, we only see those 3 summary details. And one last thing, I'm going to go ahead and just download this statement. So you can think of me as Bobby in this case, and you can see that those customizations are also kept in place in the PDF that they download. All right, I think that's all for my demo. So yeah, thanks for your time. If you have any feedback or any questions, please let us know, and we will be happy to help. And off to Brandon. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Iran. All right. So with the release of the owners portal comes a multitude of valuable data that's relevant to both the property managers and the owners, which includes items such as the occupancy, revenue, booking trends, and so on. But what does this data mean? And ultimately, you may be asking, why does it even matter? While hosting a short-term rental provides a multitude of benefits, one of the major goals, of course, is profitability. KPIs help us to understand what is actually driving those profits. You may ask, is it the current season or local events that impacted this month? KPIs can provide that data to help optimize and grow revenue and not simply focus on how many bookings did I have for the month. And having this data helps integrate that. Displaying KPIs with owners also shows transparency on how the business and rental is performing and helps to build trust. Communication is a key component as a property manager, and proactively sharing this data with owners is vital for success. In addition, these KPIs support proactive planning both as a property manager and as an owner. It allows both of you to budget for the future and set smart, concise goals to confidently forecast and scale your performance. So, what are these KPIs today? First, you have net reservation income, which is specific to the owner. This is what the owner actually nets after your fees, your commissions, and transactional expenses that were paid for. Overall, it is what they receive after your management is really accounted for. Then you have occupancy rate. This tells you the frequency and amount the property is booked in a given month. However, it is highly important to remember that high occupancy doesn't necessarily mean high profit, which is why it's important to pair this with the average nightly rate. In basic terms, how much is the owner earning per night on average through the month? Average nightly rate helps property managers and owners evaluate pricing strength and overall performance of the rental. And these are all displayed in the current main dashboard of the portal for each month. So you're asking what's next for KPIs. So we've listened and talked with many of you, and we are working to fully align our KPIs in conjunction with our metrics. That means same definitions, same calculations, and ultimately no disconnect between what the owner sees and what you as a manager are using to run your actual business. Next, we will be updating and adding new KPIs that are important for you and your owners to better understand your business. This means refinement of some of our existing metrics and introducing new ones to help better reflect revenue and property performance. For example, while during the peak season, you may want to see performance from the prior month to this month, or May to June. But what if you want to see performance from the prior year to this month, as in June of last year to June to this year? These are the metrics we are looking to adapt and evolve to better help your performance and your strategy. And finally, customization. We know that not all managers and owners care about the same data. One may want full, in-depth transparency, while another just wants a simple net income summary. So we are developing the functionality in the owners portal to allow you to tailor which KPIs are shared with your owners. We want to create a flexible experience to allow you and your ability to manage your business. Overall, these updates and changes are designed to make KPIs more useful, consistent, and overall owner-friendly, and will be integrated as we further develop the owners portal over time. KPIs should not be overwhelming, but rather an important tool to drive smarter, stronger performance for you and for your owner. So with that, I will pass it back to Emily.
Thanks, Brandon. Awesome. All right. So let's hear how to get started. If you're on the Mogul plan, you can actually invite your owners today. This went live right before the town hall. Under your manager business, preview the portal from the perspective of your owner, invite your owners to the portal on your custom domain. You can give your owners an experience that shows that you're running a professional operation. We'll go ahead and drop some help articles in the chat so you can get started. If you're not on the Mogul plan yet and you're a brand new manager, this might be for you. Your first owner really does not need to know that they're your first owner. And if you've been managing for years but are already dreading what it's going to take for you to close out June next week, this might be for you too. You can explore the owner's portal by scanning that QR code or going to that link, which will also be dropped in the chat. And when you're ready, you can upgrade to Mogul anytime from your plan page. If you need a more personalized walkthrough or just have questions about the Mogul plan, it contains much more than just the portal. You can book a call with Brian from our customer success team to see if it's right for your business. Not only does Brian lead our customer success team, but he's a property manager himself, juggling the demands of his guests and owners. So he's very well positioned to help you succeed. So you've seen what's available today, but if you know a thing or two about our culture here at Hospitable, you know that the work is never done. We're always iterating based on feedback from our customers. So over the past 2 weeks, we gave early access to about 25 of you to the owner's portal. And with that input, we've decided on our next focus. We heard that some owners want more KPIs and some want less, like Brandon mentioned. We heard that managers want to highlight a year-over-year comparison plotted by the month to give their owners a more accurate sense of the property's performance with seasonality factors in mind. So we're getting to work on a more customizable dashboard connected to metrics so you can add or remove KPIs that you'd like to highlight. We also heard that managing owner stays is a big pain, so we're building a calendar into the portal specifically for your owners. You'll be able to decide what your owners can do. Can they just view reservations and income, or can they also book owner stays? Maybe you'd like to give them permission to block days for maintenance. You can expect to see some of this come online in Q3. The work still will not be done though. We'll always be listening for your feedback and improving accordingly. So we're really interested to see how the portal can streamline new owner onboarding, maybe help you find new owners, new property onboarding. And on the other end of all that, handle payments between you and your owners, further strengthening the foundation of your business so that it doesn't crumble when you scale. We're really excited to start this journey with you all and are really looking forward to building an experience that makes your owners say, like, wow, I am so glad that I hired this property manager. All right, let's hear from PC.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Joran. Thank you, Leroy and Brandon, for the announcement of this new owner portal. That is the new experience that we're releasing for owners. And I'm truly hoping that this will be great for Ethan as he's starting his new secondary career as a property manager down under. So this is the last piece of some work that's already started 12 months ago, almost to the day, when we decided to create the Mogul team to start servicing to the most appropriate degree our property manager customers. And so Mogul started really with very humble beginnings and first being a source of truth for income. There was a lot of work that happened in the past few months about becoming a property management software, and we needed to really up our game. And I think we did to a good degree already on being better at reporting your reservation financials. I remember this was actually among the first piece of work that the Mogul team started, and you can basically, everyone can see that on your reservation financials sidebar on your inbox, for example. That in turn facilitated the work on owner statements that keep improving based on customers' feedback, the last iteration of which is, of course, the ability to make it far more customizable, so you can go as sophisticated or as simple as you have the practice with your own existing owners. We've also launched our accounting integrations, but actually we also made it possible for you to not even have an accounting integration, an accounting software as a third party. So we have our own mini P&L that's already existing on the product so that you can run your analytics without having an overloaded product. You can have the numbers straight from the source. And we now have also an exciting roadmap to develop an owner-centric owner portal. Now, we've heard about owner portals for years. Now it's your turn. You get to hear about owner portals for the years to come. I hope the competition is, of course, listening. But we will have a different owners portal. We want this to be an owner portal that is something that your owners will feel like they're losing if they don't, the owners don't, we don't want your owners to lose this owner portal, and we want that to be your competitive advantage with a better transparency and greater user experience. And so we thought, okay, maybe it's also a good time to reopen something we rarely do and are very curious to do, which are owner contracts, annual contracts, not owner contracts. Now, we decided to do it in such a way that no venture capital firm or private equity would even accept this in any company in their portfolio. But it's been quite a bit of a journey. So now that we're offering annual contract, it's basically going to streamline maybe some operation. It's only for a limited time only. But if you wanted an annual contract, for example, yesterday, you would almost have to go through a proper background check of making sure you're actually super happy with the product and actually ready to commit, which means we have customers that have been with us for the past 7 years that are not on a locked-in contract. And we're actually completely fine with that. So anyone can leave at any single point in time, but we didn't have the opportunity to offer our customers to save some discounts on a committed number of properties. So to introduce you with what's coming on annual contracts for that limited time only, that we expect is going to be only for 1 month, I would invite Derek, who is a property manager in his own right, and also happens to be our VP of sales, so that he can run through the best perks of that new annual contract. Derek?
Great, thanks, BC. Not only am I a host, but I am a full price paying customer of Hospitable who also upgraded to Mogul this month. So I'm so pumped because I know the owner portal is coming. So thank you, Hospitable, for everything that you've done that. And I will also be the first annual contract signed for on the Mogul plan. So what are we offering here? So if you are someone who sees the Mogul plan, especially because the owner's portal is a capstone to finishing that 12 months of work, and you're a legacy customer today, or you're on Pro and you've been on the fence to go to Mogul, we're giving you a little bit of extra incentive here by saving 15% off on Mogul through an annual plan. So here's how it works. You would pick your number, left to right here, very easy. If you have 12 listings and you don't have any seasonality, you would pick 12 properties, and then you will pay for those properties upfront. If you have any overages, we will bill you those on the credit card on file. And then in the middle here, we give you credits, something we call credit notes, which no other software company, and certainly not private equity approved either, if you do not actually have an active property that month, or if, let's say, you bought 12 properties up front, but you only had 10 active listings, we actually give you a credit for those 2 properties. So even though you're paying upfront for annual, the credit notes actually will give you credit for unused properties, and that can go towards your next bill. Okay, so this would happen. You would prepay once for the year via bank transfer, and then any other charges to your Hospitable account would happen on a credit card. So the TLDR here is, if you're looking to upgrade, it's a great time because the owner portal is released, and now we will save you 15% off. Next slide. Okay, this is not only just for those considering going to Mogul, though. We recognize many of you are on Mogul today, and you took a ride with us early in advance of the owner's portal. So if you already are on Mogul today, we can offer the 15% off on the annual plan. But if you're on Pro, I already saw a few comments. Hey, this was all Mogul so far. If you're on a Pro plan, we are also offering the 15% off annual as well. So if you are on Legacy looking to go Pro or Mogul, you're on Mogul today or you're on Pro, just send me an email with any questions, or you can look at the link that's on the screen. You'll fill out just a couple questions, and I will reach out to you and send the agreement to your inbox. I believe that is it. We'll go next slide, and I'll pass it back to PC. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. So you can reach out directly to Derek.Jones@hospitable.com and start a conversation about moving to an annual plan and save some money. Now, we do have another section now on the rest of the product or everything else. We just decided to be a bit conservative and create just product updates We are testing a new town hall format where we go a bit more on showing you what is live today for some accounts. The focus here was on Owners Portal, but the team has still been working on many other avenues of the product. Now, we love to build with feedback. And of course, this is happening in real time now directly on community.hospitable.com. We have worked a little bit to improve the connectivity between our product and the community, and there will be more coming soon. And that's where is the best place for continuous feedback, continuous participation as well in our private pilots or beta rollouts. So on this note, now I can invite Abby to share some select updates from the Direct team. Abby.
Yeah. So first up for Direct, we've officially completed our migration to our new guest verification experience. We've been talking about that quite a bit on several of our last town halls. And we're excited about the progress we've made there. But also as part of that migration, we did need to require that all guests go through our new guest verification experience one more time, even if they were already verified. But then if you're booking a guest with a custom quote and they've already been verified on the new experience, they'll get to skip ID verification. They won't have to go through it again. And the added benefit now on our new guest verification experience is that this will work if the guest has been verified for a booking for any other hospitable host. And you'll also be able to see the ID in the inbox, even if the guest provided it for another reservation or for another host. And that is available officially today. Also, effective July 1st, we are going to be remitting both state and local lodging taxes in Utah. We were actually already remitting sales tax. So that means that if you have a property in Utah, all taxes will be remitted for you starting July 1st. And then next up for Direct, we are going to be working on improving alterations. There's been a lot of feedback on this, specifically around needing to have more control over the price when you make an alteration. So maybe you want to give the guest a discount, or maybe you want to update the dates without even modifying the price on the booking. And we're going to let you do that. Also, as part of that work, we're going to start creating alteration requests so that your guests can actually see a breakdown of their new booking and of the cost difference before they decide to accept that alteration. So more to come there. We're starting work on that now. And then next up, I'll talk about rental agreements. For rental agreements, we've had fillable fields in pilot for quite a few weeks now, and we've gotten some great feedback there. So we are going to make that available to all beta users starting next week. And also, as part of that, we've added several new fields that our pilot users have requested. So there'll be more fields added, and we will also have ID collection available for beta as well. So if you are already using beta features, look out for that next week. If not, get beta features enabled so that you can test it out as soon as it's available. And then next up, we are working on adding rental agreements to our public API so that you can receive rental agreement data, including fillable fields data through the API. And also, as part of that, we will support that in our Zapier integration as well. So that will be really helpful if you need to send the rental agreement data to a third party like an HOA or another local authority. And so that'll just make it easier to automate sending that data to that third party. And then finally, we will also be working on multilingual rental agreements so that guests can sign the rental agreement in their preferred language. And next is Andrew, talk about dynamic pricing.
Okay, yeah, and we are almost coming up on 2 months since we made dynamic pricing available in Hospitable to all host, pro, and mobile users at no additional cost. We just passed 1,500 hosts using dynamic pricing currently at nearly 5,000 properties. That's almost $100,000 a month in savings to our hosts who don't have to pay for dynamic pricing now. What's changed since we launched? So available now for all users of dynamic pricing are the advanced controls that we launched. So that's weekend factor and reactivity to demand and events. You can tweak both of those factors to your liking. You can reduce the influence of them, or you can radically increase the influence of them if you really want to have some swings in your prices according to those factors. What is currently rolling out is rule sets to make adjustments to dynamic pricing. So you can adjust a plus or minus % to dynamic pricing on any days, set of days, range of days, a month at a time, whatever it is you need to do seasonal or like weekend specific updates. You can do those through rule sets. That's currently available to a limited amount of the beta audience. We're working through some usability issues, and then we'll start rolling out again to beta and then to all users. You can also tweak your min price or your max price for a season or for a specific set of days, right? What we are starting on now, and will be coming out in a little while, is dynamic minimum night stays. So we're really happy where we got to with some of the design through conversations with you guys, telling us what you need for a dynamic minimum night stay product. We'll be sharing those designs soon to get more feedback, hopefully a prototype that you can play with, tell us if it does the job, and we're already starting building that for you now. So look forward to that coming soon. On the connectivity front, we are about to release reviews for Booking.com. We haven't had any visibility on these in the past. We are going to give you visibility, and we're going to also plug them into the AI public reply to reviews, so we can help you generate nice, quick, easy replies to recognize reviews given to you by your guests. Remember, Booking.com, you don't review guests there. They review you only, but you can make public replies to those reviews. So that'll be coming out hopefully this week. We'll see. We are also in progress, obviously, with the full PMS integration into Vrbo, so you can manage everything, listings, payments, everything on Hospitable, right? It's not too soon yet to start recruiting a pilot audience for that. So if you are interested in trialing the brand new full integration with Vrbo, you can scan that QR code, give us a couple questions on the survey, and we will get back to you at some point if you're selected to help us pilot those features. And with that, I will pass to Tim to tell you more about security deposits.
Thanks, Andrew. Hey, everyone. So we are now in beta for Airbnb reservations for our automated security deposit feature. This is available to all direct premium users and also everyone on the Host, Pro, or Mogul plans in the US, the UK, or Australia. So direct premium users and Host, Pro, Mogul users in the US, the UK, or Australia. We'll be adding a lot of support soon also for 36 more countries there. And then also coming soon, we'll be expanding the security deposit feature to Booking.com reservations as well. Next then on smart devices. So we have a private pilot underway for a quick-set lock integration. This works the same as all of our other lock integrations. So if you have a quick-set lock at your property, you can scan the QR code on the screen, sign up for the pilot, and we will then be in touch. That's all on devices. Over to Miles.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tim. So yes, just a few updates from the marketing team now. So first off, we want to get your feedback. We are trying to look at what events, content, other programs we should be delivering to help you as a host. So kind of beyond the product and the software that we're producing, how can we connect you to more hosts and, thought-leading content and tips, tricks, workshops, and that's going to help you to thrive as a host. So if you do have the time, please scan the QR code and fill in our survey to help us out. Should only take less than 10 minutes for you to do, and you should be able to fly through that. So please go ahead, fill that survey in when you have chance. I'll linger slightly for people to scan it, and then we're going to go to events. Okay, so a couple more events coming up. So our next webinar will be next Wednesday. It'll be a direct booking power-up workshop. That's going to be led by Derek and Abby. We are holding that on July 2nd, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. And the idea of that session is for us to kind of go through a direct booking, making sure that you are getting the most out of the tools on offer there. Whether you're new to direct booking or you're already using it and just looking to become a power user, that's going to be a great session to kind of go through everything from start to finish on direct. And finally, next up, we have the town hall. Again, 2 weeks' time, we'll be here, same time, same place. So that's July 9th, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. You can scan the QR code for another town hall session. And now we are going to transition into audience Q&A. So we'll leave up some useful links here. I see there are plenty of questions in the chat in the Q&A, but if you would like to come on stage to ask a question, please go down to the react button at the bottom of your screen and click the raised hand in there, and then we'll be able to bring people on stage one by one. Okay, so we already have someone. And Todd, I'm going to invite you on stage and let you ask your question. Hello, Todd.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can indeed.
Hello,
Yeah,
Todd.
I have a question about upsells. So I like the idea and everything going on with it, but right now it's not integrated into any sort of communication. So say somebody buys an upsell and I wanted to message my cleaners and say, hey, they bought some wood for the fire pit and it's got to be delivered when they arrived. I want a message to be sent to my cleaners or handyman or whoever I want that, hey, you need to bring this by at this time. I don't want to have to get involved and think, okay, now I got to go message somebody for that upsell. Or in a situation where somebody buys an upsell like of a late checkout or something like that, I want that communicated as well to my cleaners that, hey, this person is now checking out at this time. Don't come by. I don't see those options.
Yeah. I don't think we have anyone from upsells that currently is on stage, which is a bit of a downer. But this is really something that we receive consistently in terms of feedback, and so we're starting to work toward that. So there is another component that we have notified already a few weeks ago, which is basically operations communication and also approvals of those upsells. So that basically there could be some logic and workflows triggered within Hospitable whenever an upsell is approved. Or basically keeping other people in the loop about late checkout or early check-in, not our plan. So making sure obviously this is everybody on your team is aware of it.
Yeah, that would be great because I'm taking on more properties and I don't have time to sit into the little details here and there on, okay, make sure I message this person to turn this in, or this person bought a gift basket, message that person. So if I can automate more of those tasks, I can start offering those upsells to people and start taking advantage of that. And I'd really like to do that.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Todd. We're gonna be on it, and so stay tuned for more updates on that in coming weeks.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Todd. Okay, we don't have any other raised hands yet. So please, if you do have a question, react button, raise hand.
That's fantastic. Everyone else, otherwise, what are some questions you would like to go over that you've seen on the chat that you would like to go over, or in the Q&A? So we did have some comments on dynamic pricing, because Andrew started broadcasting something there.
Yeah, I can answer. We just got one in the chat or the Q&A that I could answer live. So Patricia asks, can you enable dynamic pricing for a period of time? But if you prefer price labs, can you go back to them, and how do you do that? Yep, it's completely reversible. So as we mentioned, if you go to the calendar, you can see a preview. A preview means we are not publishing prices. If you take a few more steps, you'll see a review and confirm screen. At that moment, when you go forward, then we would publish pricing, but we're saving a snapshot of everything you had before that. So if you are a, say, Price Labs customer today, you don't have to disconnect to try that. You can go ahead and just hot switch over to Hospitable's prices if you want to. If you like it, great. If you don't like it after 10 minutes, you can go back. If you don't like it after 10 days, you could revert exactly to what your Price Labs pricing were. We're still collecting those from the Price Labs integration. So at any time you can switch. If you end up liking us, you could, eventually turn it off and we could save you some money. That's the idea, but it's completely reversible.
Yeah. You can see this up front and you can make a decision. So you can preview, it's at no risk on your side. Okay, let's do the Q&A live. I don't think we do have some hand raised now. Thank you everybody. So thank you, Andrew, for trying to have some more words.
Okay.
Elise is, I think, coming next.
Yeah, Elise is on stage now. Hello,
Okay,
Elise.
I'm going to unmute. Hi, I was in the chat about the dynamic pricing and are you white labeling? And you're saying that you're using basically the same product. So basically, we're all paying for an additional product that we really may not need to be paying, like a beyond pricing, to name one. This was my first time using the dynamic pricing, and I noticed that it's actually less than my made up pricing. And I'm really not getting the bookings that I had in the past. So I'm concerned that the dynamic pricing is taking in account properties, and this is what happened in the past, very far. I'm oceanfront, or I'm 1 block from the ocean, and they're taking into account properties 5 miles away from the beach. How do I hone that in with any product, your product, their product? Because again, like, I'm getting these recommendations, lower your price, and
So
I'm
do you have occupancy for the next 30 days?
do I have what? I'm sorry?
Do you have reservations for the next 30 days? If that's
I
the
am
anxiety.
I am more open than I've been in years before I did Hospitable or dynamic pricing. So
Okay.
when I was doing this all manual, I was way more booked. So I'm trying to understand what is going on.
So what were you doing manually?
What was I doing manually? I was managing all my properties via VRBO booking. I won an award with Booking as a top host. And I had someone else as a co-host, but that's all I was doing, and my rev was so much greater than it is right now. Right now, I'm maybe I just need to increase rev. I sent many messages to your team about I need help on my platform because Booking's not integrated. I can go on and on. However,
Okay, thank you.
I just want to know.
We're gonna start doing this one
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
first, a bit of a high-level view. It may not be you. It may not be any algorithm that comes into play, be it beyond or basically the version that we have integrated in our product. There is something that's a reality that, for example, Airbnb warned their investors about, which is that they're expecting on the level of North America, everything's going to be fine, but there will be a lot more travel to Mexico, there will be a lot more travel to Canada, and there's not going to be at least as much as there is in the United States. And we've heard from customers that depending on the location where they're based, if they are more dependent on international travel, that basically they are expecting shorter lead times. So that means now you get booked for the next 15 days, rather than what we see also at the general level of Hospitable, that probably this would have been 30 days. So that means you need to be more reactive. There's more supply that's available late, and that, needless to say, will have an impact on your rates. Our algorithm doesn't have any kind of macro bias. It's seeing, however, the data on the supply that's available in the relevant area to your location, taking into account your historical rates as well, and trying to find the best price. That's not going to be about optimizing your occupancy. Clearly, we don't have a bias towards that. I've seen somewhere on social media, but our bias is on making you money. And we've had some question as well on social media about prices generated by Hospitable dynamic pricing being too low on an empty calendar. And my immediate gut reflex is that if your calendar is empty, your price should seriously get lower anyway, irrelevant on what has been the case in Q1, in Q4, in Q3, or in Q2 of last year. Because it may not be exactly the same customers at the same price that you had last year.
I understand your comments about Mexico and Canada. I do get Canadian renters. I'm really a drive market, somewhat a fly market in South Carolina. But however, I've never gotten anyone from Mexico, so I don't really care. I'm really a drive market. My concern is that they're taking into account these dinky properties. People can rent a mobile home 5 miles out, and it could be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and they're comparing it to my oceanfront home. And now you're telling me to lower it to $232 a night, and I'm at 4.5. Well, what's going on?
Andrew,
that's my concern.
Maybe you can have some explanation of how you can tweak dynamic pricing to make it work for you, if you want to.
So dynamic pricing there's two parts to the equation, right? There's your base price, and then there's your reactivity, which is the kind of that what really makes it go up and down, right? Your base price, your mean goal price. If you don't like what we're telling you, we think your mean price is, because maybe we are getting your comp set wrong. We're not perfect. You can adjust that, right? So there's the simple controls to go more aggressive or more conservative. You can also set a custom base price. So if you think 400 is your median price throughout the whole year, then you can set 400 as the base price. and then let the reactivity kind of move it up and down from there, right? Min max price to set the guardrails. If you want to also tweak those, like I mentioned, the advanced controls, and you think it's not reactive enough to demand in your market, or you think it's not reactive to your weekend bookings or really maybe double what your weekday bookings is, and we're not picking that up, those two features you can individually tweak as well. And the feedback that we're getting from most people is if you want to match what you're using today for dynamic pricing, you can do that in Hospitable. So
Okay.
if you don't agree with the model, but you still like the fact that we'll drop prices for last minute bookings. We'll raise prices for far future premiums, right? We can still do all of that, but you can personalize it to what your expectations are. That's fine. You can kind of overrule us.
Okay. I understand that you could do that in dynamic pricing, but the whole point is that when you have so many doors, you don't want to be sitting here tweaking every single.
No, and we're never
Yeah,
going to make it that
so,
complicated.
yeah. Okay.
We give you some simple controls because we will never be perfect for all people of what they expect. So we give
Of
you
course.
simple controls to personalize. We don't want you to get lost in settings, which was feedback we heard all along for doing this. And I can't wait to show you the dynamic min stay project. It's simpler than anything else we've seen, and we've looked at everything in the last few weeks.
Excited to see it. Thank you.
Cool.
Elise, I'll make sure we have a customer success kind of touch base with you to kind of walk through all the new updates. And then for anyone else, I think if what Andrew mentioned, we do show you when you you can preview dynamic pricing and it will show you your current price. So we highly suggest that you tweak the Hospitable settings while you have a Beyond or anything else connected, because if you are like, hey, the pricing strategy I have is what I want to keep, then you can keep Price Labs, Beyond, anything else connected, then you can see and make the settings. And then when you feel that they're relatively close, just hover over the date, on Hospitable. And if you see that it's sort of very close, then you feel the confident to turn off the third-party pricing tool. That's the way to recommend. If you sort of cut it off and you come back and you're comparing, then it's sort of like, well, what happened? And then people are getting frustrated. That's our highest recommendation we're seeing of people who have success. But we will reach out to you to schedule a call as well.
Okay, so keep the Beyond, eyeball it, and then see how it's doing, and then get rid of it if it's on point. I got what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose. We've got that preview function there, and mess around with the Hospitable settings. So that's exactly. But we will reach out. We'll get you tuned up.
You.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Elise. You voiced a question that many people in the back of the room are also asking themselves. So there was plenty of comments in the chat whenever you were asking this question. And I think the situation is pretty much similar, irrespective of the market. There are some people that struggle more with occupancy during this season than was the case maybe last year. So yeah, everyone has to do basically what's good for their business and find what makes sense to them.
Can I just add? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just real quick. I talked to my VRBO specialist or whatever, and she gives insights. Like she was saying, one of you mentioned, this year versus last year. They said that within my market, 69% are now booking last minute. 69. And they've seen also a huge increase in inventory in my market. So there's more to choose from. Do you provide insights like that anywhere in the platform that I haven't ventured into?
Not yet.
Okay.
Give it enough time. There really would be an update on that. So
that would be interesting.
But it is, you basically have it nailed. So more supply, more last minute bookings means definitely rates that are expected to be skyrocket, that are expected to be going way down. Thank you, Elise, for sharing that. Miles?
Cool. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to jump across to Alex now. Hello, Alex. You have a question for us?
Hello, Alex. How can we help you today?
Hi, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yeah, so I had a question. Maybe it's about a feature that you might, if it's even in the pipeline or not. But basically, I did talk to somebody a while back about this. It would be payment splits. So I'm wondering if it's even remotely, whether it be in Mogul or not. The idea is that I'm on a co-host model with Airbnb. So we don't hold money. Airbnb is the one that does all the payout splits. And so one of the biggest limiters for us is for direct is I can't really do direct with any of my properties because we need that money to be split automatically. I don't hold it. And in our state, we would require additional, legal rules in order to hold that money. And so I was just wondering, because you did mention something about like payments through the owner's portal. I'm wondering if that's anywhere in that vicinity.
Okay, I saw Andrew turn his video on and then he turned it off, so I'll go. We would love to be able to do this. We don't want your owners to have a disjointed experience where they're getting paid by Airbnb, and then paid by you for Verbo, and then paid by direct. Like, we would like for that all to be consolidated into a single experience. And we've kind of been joking as a team that like we would like to make owner statements useless. Like, what if we could just pay people out for the reservations as they come, and split those payments for you? So I don't have a timeline or anything, but it is definitely something we're going to look at this year, and we would love to solve that pain.
And
Thank
part
you.
of what we announced today was the unlocking of that, right? The owner's portal is what we need to help you onboard the payout for your owners. So you can get their information. We can do the KYC, KYB that we need to do from our side. So now that that's out, we've got, the owner statements and the metrics, etc. One of the features that we'll look at is add your payout method, and then you can start, consolidating those payouts to your owners.
Yeah, so like for me, that's the main issue is like I need enough value in Mogul in terms of actual, return potential income to offset that cost. And for now, because we don't need we let Airbnb handle the payouts, I don't need necessarily all the features. But if suddenly I'm now able to do direct with all of my owners' properties without something I haven't been able to do before, that is a new revenue stream that I'd be happy to pay Mogul prices for to get.
And just to be clear, so that means right now you cannot distribute to Verbo or to Booking or to Direct right now because the owner will get paid?
So right now we only do Airbnb for that purpose. We do well enough on Airbnb that we don't need these other channels.
Just
but yeah,
dream of what you could do more if you were on Verbo, on Booking, and Direct. Okay, I get the idea. Okay, thank you, Alex, for sharing.
Cool. Okay, I think we can squeeze in one more. Todd, we're going to welcome you back on stage. You had one more question for us.
Yeah,
come back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, completely different question now. So I recently started doing on my calendar in Hospitable where I did not allow check-in or check-out on Saturdays to try to make sure I can preserve my weekends. So I started doing that, and then I had a midweek booking from up to Thursday, and then it automatically blocked my Friday, Saturday. I had a 2-day gap at that Friday, Saturday. And it automatically blocked it because now I had a Saturday checkout and I only allowed 2-night bookings. So is there something in the logic where it says, hey, when you have a 2-night gap, we ignore that Saturday check-in, check-out rule. So that way it does not block the calendar, so I can still try to get a 2-night fill there.
Okay, Todd, you need to come back in a few town halls from now. So this is getting worked on.
I'm always ahead of the game on it, right?
What's that?
I'm always ahead. I'm always 2 weeks ahead.
We're way ahead of you. Actually,
no, I'll reach
started
out.
building
I would love to get your feedback on what we're thinking for that. But yeah, we've got a solution coming up that's focused on the gap night, orphan night, giving you visibility when it happens and resolving it for you if you'd like us to.
Yeah, that would be great because I was like trying to figure out like what's wrong. Is my Airbnb settings wrong? Are my Hospitable settings wrong? Oh God, what have I done? Why can't I open these days? And because now everything's linked back to Airbnb, when I go to Airbnb, it just says go to Hospitable. It's managing everything. So yeah, trying to figure that out took me a while. I did figure it out, but yeah, definitely something would be helpful there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the feature that Andrew was referring to a bit earlier as it's dynamic, hospitable, dynamic midnight stays is basically
one of the features I was
one of the features. I know,
but we're not going to give the entire town hall away that's coming up in the future.
No, it's all in the execution anyway, not in the publicity. But thank you, Todd, for coming back online to ask this question. Okay, we're at time. So there are a few things. So we're changing a little bit on the town hall format. Now we're taking a deeper dive on something that is readily available for you to use. So the launch that we're having today is Owners Portal. We did hear from comments in the chat about the fact that yes, but I'm not a property manager. I'm not on Mogul. What should be keeping interested? And we're already starting a debriefing internally on basically all we can change. I don't think the problem is basically about changing the format, but basically making sure we give everybody something that they basically can grab their hands on. And so there is plenty that we're going to be able to do for the next time, building on the feedback that we've already been receiving. And this one is going to be on, I don't know, because we want to give it a surprise. That's going to be another portal that's going to be used by everybody, mostly not you. Not owners. I think now it's basically getting to a level of cryptic that would let host away a product manager shy. But anyway, so we're gonna have another launch, another portal coming 2 weeks from now, and we're love to hear your feedback. It's keeping on the progress that we've made in the past few weeks, in the past few months. And so very excited. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day and see you in 2 weeks, same time, same place. Ciao.